r/AskReddit. Have you ever woke up in the middle of a dream and it was so interesting that you wanted to go back to sleep and finish it? If so, what was it? Me and the president of Iran invaded Japan. All on our own. Only us. We will watch your career with great interest. ICUCIA. I had a dream that the band Churches wrote a song about me called My Name is a Good Boy But He Pees His Pants, and for some reason there were a ton of clickbait articles about it like Churches destroys this fan, and my wife was worried I wouldn't be able to show my face in public, and after all that I woke up before I got to hear it and I'm still upset about it. This is so funny. I am laughing way too hard. It was me being able to fly. The thing is that I remember what I had to do in order to fly, just put force on your legs and boom, off the ground. It feels satisfying to fly in your dreams, it just feels like you're actually flying. I fly in nearly every dream I have. It's how I often realize I'm dreaming. Rising vertically takes a lot of strain and effort, but I can float horizontally indefinitely a lot like Princess Peach in Super Mario 2. I suspect this has a lot to do with the amount of bike riding I did growing up. No one else in dreamland can fly but me, but no one isn't impressed by it. They are annoyed with me showing off. This is exactly how my flying dream is as well. It takes a lot of concentration and sometimes luck to go up, but floating is easy. And to reach certain height is normally easy as well, but to go above that is most of the time hard. Haven't had flying dreams for a while though. Used to have this so consistently that it just feels normal to float like Peach. So, I had a dream that I lived underwater with a tribe. Suddenly, whales started to attack our homes, and we had to evacuate to land. Upon touching the ground and breathing the air, many of our tribespeople dropped to the ground dead. I was the son of one of the leaders, so I was privileged in our trek and many of the tribespeople resented me. One tribesman attempted to murder me while I was sleeping in a makeshift tent that we had crafted before night fell. He got caught and was burned on a stake as we sang and told folk stories. Now, as I said before, we lived underwater, so I have no effing idea how we made tents and fire. It was a typical journey, and then we encountered another tribe along the way, and engaged in a battle. We were just about to announce them as our enemies and charge at them, but of course, I woke up. I went back to sleep and instead dreamt of being eaten alive by a chicken. I think we might be related. I had the similar dream minus the fire and tents. Everything was gold? Everything was underwater. I was part of a royal family and we were sitting on the big table looking down and all the everyday people and gestures etc. Everyone was there except my daughter when I spotted her out in this group of kid dancers who were poor etc. and I was like that's my daughter and they all thought I was crazy and before I could protest this big wave of killers came through. I had to evacuate to land too but I was the only one left alive from the tribe. All my family had died and all the rest of the people too. I am up on a rock and some lady came on a wooden old boat and said I could go back in time and I had two choices, save them and the world would potentially go to shit or let them die again and by sacrificing them I would save the world. I went back and was letting them all die until I saw my daughter about to be slaughtered. I grabbed her and escaped to land again and I saw the lady in the old boat and she smiled and nodded. I knew I had made the right choice. Yeah. I almost immediately forget it. Sometimes I keep a dream journal and see if I can write stories based around what I jotted down when half awake. One was, Zarya finds two kids from the middle of the farmlands and gets chased into the city. The FBI show up because the kids are telepathic or some shit and can create explosions with their brains. Then they get chased into a mall into a theater, and I'm there in the theater watching the movie while it happens. Then they exit through the top and somehow that leads to a subway station? So anyway the FBI started blasting, hitting everyone they can. Then it turns out one of the kids was shot in the head, so now only one is left. And it was really fucking gruesome when the movie in my brain showed his body. Like IDK where the fuck that level of detail comes from. I was fucking shocked. And then I woke up. I tried going back into it but just ended up having a dream about a huge fucking movie theater in the mountains and trying to find my seat. That fucking sucked. I wanted to see how it ends. I used to write my dreams down too. It's friggin' strange when you go back to reading them and you're like WTF. So all of my sex dreams involve me and a steamy dude and we're both DTF, but invariably there's always this oh one more thing we have to do before we can get to boning. Save someone from being late to work, clean my grandmother's pantry, that sort of thing, and no matter what I always wake up before we get to the hot plowing. So my sex dreams are basically normal dreams but with a ton of sexual frustration. I have yet to get one of those dreams back to finish the job. It's heartbreaking. Whenever I try to kiss someone in my sexy dreams, my lips try to pucker in real life but end up just trembling. I feel this in the dream world and invariably the target of my affections gets weirded out by my twitching lips. Every morning. I wake up and wish that I was wherever else I happened to be before I opened my eyes. Hey, you. You're finally awake. I actually had a very realistic feeling dream one night that I was simply cuddling with someone. It felt like this faceless person was the first one to actually love me as they kissed my forehead. And then I woke up to someone mowing their damn lawn, and I've wanted to have that dream again ever since. In romantic dreams, I never dream of people that exist, they are always these, faceless, non-existent ones. Most of the time people who I know who appearing in my dreams are a nuisance. Well, this kind of applies to my real life, where I find most people to be not good enough. Yes, in the dream I was being kidnapped by serial killers disguised as my parents. I went back to sleep in the same dream and finally escaped. What did they do to your real parents? How did you escape? Why did they want to kill you? LMAO, so many questions. In the dream, one of the rooms of the parents' house is nailed and bolted shut. I assume that is where the bodies are. I knew something was off when I found my car's tires were slashed just hours after I arrived at their house, and the fake parents were very controlling and had very different personalities. At night, I jumped out of my bedroom window and called an Uber back home. The fake parents beat me there and trashed my apartment until my dog scares them off. The next morning I got a phone call saying the fake parents set my car on fire and left the house. I never did find out why they targeted me. When I got a girlfriend. I screamed when I woke up. No. Yeah, I feel you. Having a girlfriend is scary. I can only remember part of it. It's extremely strange. So. I was running with a group of people, I was interested in It's Funna and Who at the time, so they were probably characters from that. We're running and we run down a hill, we all have weapons. There was a large road. We stop, catch our breath, and suddenly one of the people turns into this giant robotic purple thing with a bare head. They start walking away and down the road. I'm told 3 things: don't let the robot see us, whoever goes past the trees dies, and that we need to get to the house before them. Have no clue what the house is. I somehow lost my weapon. Occasionally the robot would look back, so we had to duck to make sure they didn't see us. At one point I was next to the trees and they turned. I had nothing to hide behind, so I went into the trees. I needed a weapon and there was conveniently a stick of dynamite and a matchbox in the field behind the trees, so I go there and grab it. The field is blocked from the robot's field of vision, so I keep going in the field. The group follows me and the robot somehow meets with a friend called Party Hat. We get to this weird thing with weird metal shapes and I wait, but the group keeps going. I hide behind the metal shapes and Party Hat sees the group, bare head, and Party Hat just watch them as they panic. I see on the metal shapes there is a Party Hat painted and another shape has a bare head painted. I then wake up. I wanted to go back but couldn't fall back to sleep. I want to know what happened. The house is actually the robot bear's secret lair and this is all a game to him. Funny story actually. I had a dream where this unknown woman trying to stab me and failing every time. I got fed up and tried to grab her judo style. Instead, I accidentally pinched my sister's neck instead, who was beside me. While I was asleep. Sorry, I had a nightmare. She immediately went back to sleep like nothing had happened. You sleep with your sister. We share beds. And no, not in that way. Ever. I usually kick her off on the bed. I can do this sometimes. I can go back to sleep and continue the dream, although, most often the dreams takes bizarre turns. I had a dream where I was a carrot and that I was escaping a kitchen. I had this dream where I had an anime wife. She was so kind and polite, and just before we could bone, I woke up. I hate reality. Had a similar dream, except she turned into a vampire Donald Duck and tried to kill me in the end. I don't remember. I was hired as a Men in Black. My new partner was Danny DeVito, not a character played by Danny DeVito but him. I'm just standing there eyes wide open and he looks at me and say, "Hey kid, don't look so surprised, everybody thought I'd be one of them, not one of us." I had a dream where my father, who had been dead for years, was desperately trying to tell me something. A cloaked figure appeared between the two of us and said, "No, you cannot speak to him yet," and then I woke up. It was the most profoundly realistic dream I'd ever had before or since. I really tried to get back to that place just to see my dad again, but I never could. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Reddit stories like this.